Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have my lovely mum right here today being my model, and I wanted to do a glam makeup for mature skin. I wanted to talk you through the process, products that are going to work for you, really nice and easy. As you can see, she's looking very glam and you can totally recreate this. So if you want to know how we got this look, then please keep on watching. I'm going to start off with the Live Tinted Color Corrector. You're going to want this after.
I know.
Why are you laughing? You always do this every time I do your makeup. I'm just going to lightly blend that out. And obviously if you don't have hyperpigmentation or discoloration, then you can skip this step. But my mum has hyperpigmentation. So I'm just patting that in and just blending it out a little bit. But we don't want to get rid of it completely because that will just kind of defeat the purpose. And then for foundation, on mature skin, I would recommend going in with something hydrating, moisturizing, nourishing, luminous, radiant, nothing matte, because it will just make your skin look more mature. So my mum actually really loves this foundation. This is the Armani Luminous Silk. You haven't used this in a while, have you?
No, I use NARS one.
Yeah, or the NARS Radiant Longwear. Basically, my mum, she still likes coverage because she still wants to cover up this discoloration. She doesn't want to wear super lightweight foundation, and you don't have to. You can still get coverage if you've got mature skin, but you've got to wear it in the right way. I'm just going to pat this all over. And the reason I'm patting is because I still want to keep coverage. It's entirely up to you if you want to go in with full coverage and, you know, go in with a heavy layer. But I would recommend just using one pump all over the face. And I don't actually like to take a lot of foundation over the forehead, because if you take a lot of foundation over the forehead, it kind of gives it away that you're wearing a lot of makeup. So you don't want to look like you've got loads on. There's a little tip for you. Put less foundation on your forehead, okay? Mm-hmm. Do you know what? Even if I tell her tips, she's not going to listen to me, so it's so true. Right, so next I'm going to go in with the Fenty cream bronzers. I would highly advise using cream products just to contour, bronze your skin, overusing powders. You can still use powders, and I might do afterwards, but if you really want to give your skin that, you know, nice natural look and feel and healthy look, then cream is the way to go. So, and these Fenty ones have got loads of kind of, they just have a radiance to them, which is why I like them. I'm going in with the darker one, chocolate, first. What? What?
These things, I've never used them.
Yeah, but this is why I do it on you. So I'm just getting it where the cheekbone is, kind of roughly. And because this product's like not like super heavy or scary, it's not going to go on like crazy. So I'll just take some on her forehead. And then with a bit more of a warmer shade, which is Teddy, I'm just going to blend that out. And this just sits really, really nicely on the skin. Like, it just looks super natural. You don't have to do both these steps. You can just get one of the shades. Am I being too harsh?
Oh, no, I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, you're going to sneeze?
Oh, it's gone.
So it just looks like it's in the skin. And definitely always bronze your head and your temples. Bronzing your skin, no matter what age you are, is always going to make you look healthy and more radiant. Okay, and then the concealer I'm going to use is, again, something a bit more nourishing, but it's got coverage because we still want to cover up this orangey kind of tint and also any dark circles. And I'm just quickly patting this in. Do you feel like you're going to
No.
fall off the chair? Okay, come forward a little bit actually, Mum. So I'm just patting in that excess kind of corrector just so that it's warmed up into the skin a little bit more with my finger. And then I'll go in with this concealer. And the best thing is that this concealer is hydrating. Now, this is entirely up to you if you want to go and do the whole contour highlight situation. But I mean, just because you are mature with mature skin doesn't mean you can't look snatched. It doesn't mean you can't look sexy. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to achieve today with my mama, okay? I mean, for every day, you might not want to do all of this. For every day, you might just want to do it under your eyes and down your nose, but I would recommend for every day just doing this section. You don't have to do this bit. And again, I just pat everything into the skin. And the reason I pat is because I want to keep the coverage. And I always keep my foundation brush on hand to kind of just blend back over. So everything should always look seamless. You don't want to use a concealer that's super kind of drying and matte under the eyes either if you've got mature skin, because you want, obviously you don't want anything to look really crepey or heavy. So this concealer is nice because it's nourishing, but it still gives you coverage, which is the main thing. Can you see how nicely that's covered up the eyes, but they don't look super dry or matte? Do you like it? My mum personally does love a little bit of a nose contour, so I don't think she'd forgive me if I did her makeup without doing a bit of nose contour, so I'm gonna do some of that. Again, this is optional, and if you are going to do nose contour, always make sure you do it like quite thin into the bridge. Don't put the lines really far out on the nose. That's only going to make your nose look wider. So make sure you take it as thin as you can, but leaving a gap for the highlight in the middle. And if you have a slight droop, I'm not saying you do, Mum, but I'm just saying, just get the end of the nose. And then for powder, I'm going to go in with this Hourglass Vanish powder. I love this because it is so lightweight, and you shouldn't really get any kind of fine lines. I'll show you what you can do if that does happen. And, you know, it might happen just because, I don't know, it just can. But where you don't want to use a powder that's really heavy, this one is nice and lightweight. So again, always pat your powder on. You are not dragging onto wet concealer, because you will just move that concealer around and then you end up seeing the orange corrector underneath later on during the day. So you really want to avoid that. That's why it's really important to only pat. And this powder just makes you look airbrushed under the eyes, and it actually sits much nicer than the Laura Mercier one. Look at that. Isn't it? You're going to need to get all of these now. I'm also just going to take these powders over anywhere that I just want to set. You know, like around the nose where your foundation might separate throughout the day, where you might get oily. My mum actually tends to touch her nose a bit. So you touch your face quite a lot, actually.
Mainly nose.
Yeah, mainly your nose. So I'm just powdering, you know, those areas that you don't really want to look shiny. And I just want to make sure I set here where the kind of smile lines are, so she can go ahead and smile and laugh all day, but without the foundation kind of creasing or sitting in those lines. So just think about how your face moves and, you know, areas that are important to you where your foundation kind of stays put. And then I do like to use a face powder, one with a slight colour on it. Something that is really lightweight though. This is the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in medium dark. The reason I don't want to use like a really full coverage face foundation powder is because we're trying to make the skin look radiant, not like heavy or matte. So the only reason we're going in with a coloured powder that is lightweight is so that when we apply bronzer or anything on top here, it's not going to stick to the wet kind of foundation or bronzer we already have on. So this is just going to set it again so that it lasts all day. And I'm just patting. Patting is literally the key kind of movement that I'm doing. If you pat everything on, it will have so much better kind of hold. And that's so lightweight, that's literally it. It's hardly made a difference, but when we put any other products on top, they won't stick to the face, if that makes sense. So then I'm gonna go in with some bronzer. You could have actually used a cream blush, I completely forgot. But you could have used a cream blush before you set it, but it's too late for that now. Don't use cream over a face that's been powdered, but let's go in with some bronzer. Like I said before, bronzing your skin is really going to make you look healthy, glowy, youthful, like you've got some sun. But don't put too much on, be really careful. If you have a smaller forehead, I wouldn't advise taking it all the way around. Like, so I have a smaller forehead than my mum, so I don't actually take my bronzer all the way around. I only put it on the kind of temples, whereas my mum would have it just slightly around her whole forehead. And then I'll just put it over where we already cream contoured earlier. And I always just get it on the edge of the face as well, especially if your hair's gonna be up behind your ears or anything, you don't want there to be like bronzer and then a gap of nothing and then bronzer here. So just kind of be mindful how you're gonna have your hair, what's gonna be on show of your face. So just take it around the edges of your face and then just run any excess just down your nose. It doesn't have to be super precise. You're just kind of giving your nose that shape and color. And if you want to snatch your jawline, then take some bronzer just along the bottom of your face. That's just gonna add some shadow right here. So, you know, a little bit of shape. And then this step is kind of like a must for me, for anyone of all ages. If you wanna look extra snatched, sculpted, you want to give yourself cheekbones, this is what you need to do. So take your same translucent powder, the Hourglass one, and face forward, mama. And you're just going to take this right under where we just bronzed. It's just going to clean it all up in a really, really simple way, but you're going to look more defined. Okay, so next I'm going to take some of this Champagne Pop by Becca, and this literally just goes on every single kind of skin tone. I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the tops of the cheekbones, and you don't want to take too much highlighter, if I'm honest, especially because, you know, if there's fine lines, it's just gonna exaggerate those fine lines a lot more. Like, you still want to add a little bit because it just adds more dimension to the face. You don't want it to look too matte, and it will also add kind of like a healthy glow. So just a little bit right at the tops of the cheekbones. And this is a really nice one because it's not super chalky and it kind of just melts into the skin. So anything that, again, is going to sit nicely on the skin is what you need. So I'll just also take some right in the center of the forehead, a little bit here and a little bit here. Just on a smaller brush, I'm going to take some just down her nose. Do you like it? Do you?
Yeah.
Are you lying?
No, it's giving a shape.
Oh, okay. So just a little something. You don't have to do this little tip at the end, but from previous experience, I think my mom likes that. So that's why I've done it. Okay, then blusher. So for blush, I'm gonna go in with this Charlotte Tilbury one in the shade Pillow Talk. And this is actually one of my favorite blushes. I've got it on today actually, and it's just so beautiful. It's really glowy. And my mum actually really loves blusher. But a tip for wearing blusher is you want to mainly put it on the apples of your cheeks and then kind of brush a teeny bit back. For a more youthful look, you mainly want it on the apples of your cheeks. So I'll just take it in small, smile a little bit for me, Mum. Just so I can see where the cheekbone, the apple of the cheek is. And then that's it, right there.
No, because I normally take it right up there.
No, that's why it doesn't. This looks better. And just, my mum likes some just on her nose a little bit, just to add a bit of flush of colour, which you can do. Okay, so then for the eyes, I'm going to go in with a cream shadow just because this is easiest to use, really quick. I just find it works much nicer on like mature skin rather than kind of building up with eyeshadow. Because if you're trying to build up eyeshadow on skin that has got fine lines or like has movement, I'm trying to say this in the nicest way, then this is probably the easiest thing to do. So I'm just taking this across the lid, and a product like this can be quite forgiving in how you use it. So I'm just taking it across the lid. It doesn't have to be anything perfect at this stage. Just take a blending brush and really, really quickly, I do one eye at a time so that it doesn't set. And then I blend the edges, just taking it back and forth. And where my mum has, you know, discoloration on her lids, it actually works really, really nicely as kind of like as definition in the eyes. So it kind of can act as like a darker eyeshadow. So use your pigmentation to your advantage, because I think it's actually really beautiful. And then you can take it in stages, and if you feel like you need to build up more, then do. And you can use like a light gold, a bronze, anything you like, but I just like this shade. It always goes with everything, to be honest. You can even blend the edges of this with your fingers if you wanted. So it's a really easy, like kind of on the go product. And then I'm gonna take this Dior palette. It's really nice and neutral, and I'm gonna take a little bit of this gold shade right here. Just on my finger, I'm just gonna press that gold just on the start of the eye right here. And this is like how you can do your makeup super easy, and it doesn't involve fiddling with tons of brushes or even loads of technique. You could just leave it bronze all over, but I know that my mum likes a bit of a lighter kind of colour on her eyes. So this is a way to get definition, but also get some colour. And then I'll just take like a matte shade, like this and this, and just run that through the crease a little bit. This is completely optional. This is just me being a perfectionist. And then just to kind of frame the eyes, I'll take those same two brown shadows, look up, Mom, and I'll just take that just on the outer corner along the lower lash line a bit. And this is just going to make your eyes look bigger and, you know, makes the eye makeup look a lot more complete. And then my mum doesn't actually like eyeliner, so I'm going to take this really, really dark brown. You can use a black or a dark brown, and I'm just going to take this right along the lash line. So this is kind of the best way to bring definition to your eyes without using, you know, eyeliner. And also when you use a shadow, you're not worrying about the kind of, you know, when you apply a liquid eyeliner or a gel, it's gonna cling to the fine lines and it ends up looking really rigidy and bumpy. So to avoid that, but you still want depth on the lash line, use a dark eyeshadow. And again, it's really quick to do. And then you can always just add some highlight to the inner corners just to add an extra bit of glow. And then I'm gonna go in with some mascara. I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara because my mum likes this one. Look down. And it is just a really good mascara. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit just on the lower lash line, lower lashes. This just opens up the eyes that extra bit. And then for lip liner, I'm going in with this Victoria Beckham lip pencil, and I love this. This is in shade number 4. And again, if you want to make your lips, your entire appearance look more youthful, instead of doing a pointy cupid bow, which you may naturally have, round it off, because that will make your lips look fuller, more plump, and again, more youthful. If you do points, it just ages you a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with a nude lipstick. And this is Yash by MAC. And this is like a nice warm nude. I feel like a lot of mature ladies don't really wear a lot of nude lipstick because they think it makes them look like a bit zombie-ish. But there's a way of wearing it. And it's with a warmer lip liner and a warm nude lipstick. And then I'll always go back in with the lip liner, just to kind of blend the lipstick and the lip line together so that there isn't a harsh line all the way around your lips. And then finally, we're going to finish this off with some gloss, which is the Fenty Gloss Bomb. This is so beautiful, and it will just warm up your nude lipstick a little bit as well. You'll have plump, juicy lips. And then finally, a setting spray is a must, and the one that I really like to use is this Morphe setting mist, just because it's not gonna sit really heavy on your skin. It's really, really nice and fine, and it's also just gonna separate all the powders that we've put on the skin and make it look a little bit more radiant, but without looking greasy. So guys, this right here is the finished look on my beautiful mum. Yeah, I hope she likes this makeup look, but this is what I would do for an occasion. When you wanna get glam, there are things that you can take away from this makeup look and apply it to your every single day makeup, but this of course is glam makeup for mature skin. So yeah, I hope you found it helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment down below, let me know if there's any products that you think my mum needs to know about, and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Bye.